I'm really excited I got to do this video because these are some of the things I want to talk about. Things that face us, and it doesn't matter who you are, what position you hold, how much money you have. You could find yourself in a position where you're doubting yourself so much, and sometimes you don't even realize why. Hi guys, how are you doing this afternoon? So I am well, and lately I've had to make some very tough decisions in my life, and before I make a decision, I've realized I'm faced with a lot of holding back myself or self-doubt. And I decided to do this video because sometimes the reason we don't go forward with what we want is because we are doubting ourselves. So for me, self-doubt is like that voice in your head that makes starting something or finishing harder than it needs to be, than it needs to be. And I feel like the reason ile time nafikanga kama sasa, like last week, I get to a point I really need to make some decisions even about my business, about my real estate work. Like I have to make major decisions and I feel like I'm not confident. And sometimes I feel the reason I have a lot of self-doubt is because I'm already anticipating failure. I'm not alone. And I'm sure you find yourself in situations where you have to make decisions or you need to take a particular step, maybe career-wise, family-wise, or maybe in your personal life. But you keep holding yourself back, you keep holding back, and you don't really know why. And there's that voice in your head that tells you, you know what, stop making a fool out of yourself. Oh, what will people say? Don't make a fool out of yourself. Kwanza, that question of what will people say. Why do we make people so important in our lives? Like what watasema? And then at the end of the day, it's your life. But I don't know why we are so caught up with what watasema nini. And it has to get to a point, especially in me, to go to a point where I was like, this is my life. And I've made decisions before, and I believe I make very good decisions for my life. I believe that. And sometimes I tell myself, if I make a decision and if I decide to do something and it does not work, it doesn't mean I didn't make the right decision. It sometimes means that was not the right way to go about it. It's like a redirection. So sometimes we are usually anticipating failure. You already feel like you're going to fail. You already feel like your money is going to go down the drain. You already feel like, I can't do this. No, I can't do this. But you know that's exactly what you need to do. I don't know if I'm making sense. So I've been thinking about it, and I've also read about why we have a lot of self-doubt. And I decided to do this video because sometimes I have it, and I feel everybody has doubt at some point. Even the most successful people, even the people who feel that they make the best decisions, at some point they are faced with doubt, with doubting themselves, with not knowing if this step is the right one, but still go for it anyway. So for me, I learned a few things, and the first thing I learned is that I have to have more reasons for doing it than for not doing it. For example, if I'm making a decision about work, I have to look at the more reasons it's benefiting me, and if it could fail, like chances of succeeding in that decision or making a good decisions need to be higher than chances of failing. That's what some of the things I read about. And also looking at instances before when you are faced with the same challenge to make such a decision and you made a good decision and it worked out. I'm also taken back to remember when I went through that last week, I was taken back to remember there's that episode I talked about vulnerability when looking for love. Sometimes when we want something, we think, for example, if you want to open a business, you've taken a loan from the bank, you think about what if I fail, full stop. But then we forget, what if I fail, there shouldn't be a full stop there. There should be a comma. So what if I fail, comma, then I will go back to the drawing board comma, then I will look for more money, comma, then I will learn from that experience. There is no full stop. But somehow in our minds, we just put a full stop after failure, after if things don't work out. For example, now if I quit my job to go back to school, I could go broke, full stop. You could go broke, and then what happens? You might look for another job. As in, we just put full stop after failure. But life is not a state of endedness. It's not. There's no full stop in life. Life is the instant state of growing and evolving. You understand? You get it? And sometimes I don't know if I also found myself thinking, sometimes I don't know if you find yourself in situations where you make a decision and then you feel this is the worst decision I can make for myself. And then like 6 months or 1 month or 1 year down the line, or even 2 months, whatever time, or even 5 years down the line, you realize, I'm so glad I made that decision. Like I am so proud of myself. So self-doubt is anticipating you're going to fail. And it's not a good way to live your life, thinking about what you're going to do wrong. How about you focus on, if I make this decision, this good could come out from this decision. And also, sometimes I find myself saying, I will just do it. Just start. And sometimes you don't know your potential, or you don't know how good it can be until you start. And sometimes it has to come back to believing in yourself. Also, I also feel like the reason sometimes we have a lot of self-doubt and we don't want to go out and do what we're supposed to is because we don't like taking responsibility for our own actions and our own decisions. Yeah, and sometimes we forget you're in charge of your success and you're in charge of your failure. Nobody else is in charge of that. It is your life. Imagine it is your life. So I have learned to take that step. I've learned to, first of all, analyze the situation, look at, have more reasons to making the decision I'm looking at making, have more reasons to go forward, have more reasons to succeed rather than to fail. Because of course you have to look also at the chances of failing. But if you have more chances of succeeding and less chances of failure, by all means go for it. Also remember the times you were faced with such a dilemma to make a huge decision and you made a good decision, or if you made an alternative decision, if you made a bad decision, how it was for you. Consider those things. But sometimes we are obsessing over, so do I say yes? Do I say no? Hey, calm down. There's this book I'm reading called, I've actually finished. It's written by a Buddhist, kind of like a monk. He's called Hanim Sunim, and he talks about the things you can see only when you slow down. And he says the world is in your mind. Sometimes when you feel, hey, dunia ni stress, the only thing you'll see is stress. Sometimes when you feel like, hey, it's relaxed, it's sunny, it's an easy day, that is what will happen. You experience the world from your mind. So I just want to wish you a good time. And whatever decisions you make when you're faced with self-doubt, remember you can do it. Look at the chances of it being successful rather than focusing on the 1% failure. And also stop anticipating failure, like thinking I'm gonna fail, because I'm gonna fail. There's no full stop there. You could fail indeed. You could really fail terribly. But I failed terribly, then I learned from that experience, then I took a different decision, and here I am. So there's no full stop after failure, because life is a continuous cycle. There's no full stop in life. So every time you're faced with self-doubt, remind yourself you can do it, and you don't know how it's gonna go until you do it. Sometimes also I look at failure as a redirection or rejection. Sometimes it could be you have self-doubt because you're scared of rejection. Sometimes I look at it as a redirection to what exactly you're supposed to be doing. So when it doesn't work out, you go back to the drawing board, you take a different direction. Also, I always look at where I've come from. I look at 5 years ago. Where was I 5 years ago? 1 year ago? Where was I 2 years ago? Where was I when I was at this point in my life? Always also look at where you've come from, so you can stop making excuses, because of course, everybody wants to move forward. You don't want to stagnate. And some of these decisions that you really are really tough and that really put you in a situation where you're doubting yourself are some of the most defining decisions in our lives. That episode I did about not giving up, I remember saying, it's not the condition you're in, it's the decisions you make throughout your life that shape the quality of your life. Yeah. So remember, whatever decision you make, you need to be able to live with it and take responsibility. Try. You never know until you try, until you go for it. So thank you so much for watching. This is one of those short videos, but I really, really needed to do it because this is something I've been struggling with, doubting myself if I need to make a decision. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to feel like it's what someone then sometimes after a while I get back to my element and I'm like, it's my life. I'm responsible for my own decisions, and sometimes I don't know how it would turn out if I don't start or if I don't go for it. So have a good afternoon. Please share this video and let's meet down at the comment section. Bye. My name is Muthoni Mukiri. You have been watching Muthoni's Mission.